Hey everyone, Andrew J. Polk here, host of Talk El Paso, airing live now 4 to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday on News Radio 690 KTSM. We have, of course, been continuing our mayoral election series as we do ever since we've been on air, and we've been having these mayoral elections during our time frame. So we have more of the candidates here for you. Hopefully listen to them, and remember to go out and vote. Enjoy. Joining me now, we have Calvin Zielsdorf, candidate for mayor of El Paso. Thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me, Andrew.
So for people who are not familiar with you and are trying to learn about this election, go ahead and introduce yourself.
So my name is Calvin Zielsdorf, and I am running for El Paso Mayor 2020. I was born in Germany to El Pasoan parents. We moved back when I was 3 months old. I went to Tierra del Sol, Eastwood Heights, Scottsdale, Desert View Middle School, and graduated from Cathedral High School. While I was there, I did qualify for Olympic trials in swimming. I moved on to Texas A&M, where I graduated with a degree in leadership, education, and communication. I also was a 4-time All-American while I was there, and I made the Olympic trials again in 2004. The only reason why I bring that up is because it, showcases my hard work and my determination. When I finished Texas A&M, I came back to El Paso and I wanted to serve my community directly. I joined the fire department and was on the fire department for 8.5 years. During that time, I became a paramedic. I got my rope rescue cert, my swift water rescue, scuba rescue, and just to name a few of the certs that I obtained. And that was because I wanted to be the best that I could be on the fire department. I didn't just want to get on and then coast for the rest of my career. Mm-hmm. While that time and during the fire department, I was working in Duranguito, so I got to really experience the breakup of that community when the quality of life bonds passed. And I was really disheartened on how the city went around that. In 2016, I got really into politics. I did start following Bernie Sanders and got to see him in Vado and when he came out here, and I thought that was really inspiring. I started attending city council meetings, and I was kind of just blown away with how the city council approached citizen public opinion. And I thought that the city really needs a change in its leadership and in the direction of where the city is going. And so that's kind of what motivated me to run for mayor.
Yeah, the answer to my next question there, what made you want to run for mayor there in a bit. So what would you say are some of your major policy positions that you would want to accomplish if elected to office?
Well, like I mentioned earlier, I was on the fire department for 8.5 years, and I got to see a lot of the inner workings within that department and other departments. And I noticed a lot of inefficiencies and how a lot of opportunity was cut off from more citizens than what we could have. And that's just not the fire department. That goes through the police department and every other department within the city. My second platform would be to present district projects. And in those district projects, these would be decided on, created, and built by those living within that district. And the whole purpose of this is to inject money directly to the people, and these would be individual contracts. So we wouldn't be hiring large construction companies to build these projects. It would be built from within the districts. And like I said, it would be a direct injection of money into those districts' residents' pockets. And I think that would really help us bounce back from the pandemic. We can't rely on businesses to increase their pay when everybody's hurting for money right now. And my third platform would be accountability and transparency. Like I mentioned earlier, I've been to numerous city council meetings, and I just saw flat out lies. And these lies were never, these people making these lies were never held accountable for them. And I think if we have that in our city leadership, I think that really hurts our city and definitely hurts the citizens' trust within that city itself.
If you're just joining us, my guest right now is Calvin Zielsdorf, candidate for mayor of El Paso. You want to find out more information about him and some of these policies positions we're going over, you can visit Calvin Zielsdorf 4 EP Mayor 2020 on Facebook. I'm sure they can just search you as well over on Facebook and they'll find you.
That's right. There's not too many Calvin Zielsdorfs out there.
I would not imagine so, no. So let's break down some of those policy positions a little bit more. When you talk about restructuring the departments and dealing with inefficiencies, what kind of, I guess, prime focus would you have on doing that? Is there like one overarching idea that you want to kind of achieve in that?
Yeah, absolutely. And when I talk about this idea, it's nothing personal against anybody or how, or anybody that I've worked with before. When I was there, a lot of people would say, I was given advice not to move up, not to advance my knowledge in fire department, just to lay low and coast for 24 plus years. And I really thought that was a terrible way of looking at it. People call on us during emergencies, and we should all be wanting to know exactly what to do to help people. And so, so after I was given that advice, of course I didn't take it. I became a paramedic and got us certs and everything else that I could do at the time. But you got to see a lot of people that would just get on the fire department, and they would coast for 24, 25 or more years. And, when I looked back at that, I said, this is something that while yes, it's very demanding job and very stressful. Anybody can really do it. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to know how to help people during their emergencies. Everything's laid out. There's a joke within the fire department. All you got to do is make it firefighter understandable for firefighters, because it's okay. They swear they're the smartest bunch of the group, but and so when I saw that, I was like, well, I think we could restructure the fire department and other departments in a way that where we could offer more of our civilians the education on how to react within emergency situations, and then leave after only 8 years with a house and trade of their decision or of their choice. And this would really, in my mind, springboard people into a better life, into a better start at life, instead of just, as an example, you have one person that goes through 24 years of service. And with this new setup, you would have 3 different people that could take advantage of that. And that's 3 different families within El Paso that they have a better life, or at least a better start to life. And so that's my whole idea, is just to, quote unquote, spread the love and really help more of our citizens. And it would in turn build our citizenry stronger and more resilient to emergencies.
So we're talking a bit about the fire department here. So obviously that leads to thinking about the police department, and there has been another current going alongside this election nationally of what is being called defund the police. Is anything that you're talking about here in restructuring city departments, is it any of that a part of it, or is that completely separate?
So, when defunding the police came out originally, it was a lot of people understood it as, just getting rid of the whole department, right? But when you look at what the definition is, it's reallocating monies, to more civil service departments. And so within the police department, I would go to SWAT situations or standoffs, and I would see 30 to 40 or 50 guys show up, in unmarked cars, and they would get all their gear on and they'd get ready, and then most often than not, it was nothing. I don't understand why we need a separate, smaller army within the police department when we have 2 huge federal agencies within our community. We have Fort Bliss and Border Patrol. If anything ever came down to where we needed a SWAT, or if there was an actual SWAT situation, we have plenty of help. I don't see why we need to take that on ourselves. And I'm not saying to get rid of every specialized position within the police department, but I definitely think there should be, or there can be, some trimming in that department. And I personally know somebody that's within the crisis intervention team, and they're just short-staffed. And they say that they help the cops out with a tremendous amount of paperwork. And police officers aren't really trained that well on how to distinguish people in a crisis or people that are just breaking the law.
And so that crisis intervention team you're mentioning there, that's where it's the initiative with the El Paso Police Department to basically put mental health professionals along with police officers and provide additional specialized mental health response training to police officers.
Correct. And that's where a lot of the money would go. I think that needs to be funded more. My oldest brother, I'm 37, he's 39. He is nonverbal, autistic, and has cerebral palsy. Yes, he can walk, but I don't want anybody confusing him for not following orders, and he just doesn't know, and I would hate for him, to be hurt or tased or tackled to the floor when, in all honesty, all you had to do is walk up to him and you would be able to tell. But with me saying that, while I was in the fire department, I noticed many times that firefighters, people that are medically trained, couldn't tell the difference between somebody with mental problems or somebody that's, quote unquote normal. And it was very disheartening to see that. And so that's kind of one of the reasons why I want to rebuild the departments, is not because, we need more people, but we can't reward these types of people for a career that's 24 years, long, when we could flush more people through. We would get more empathy. We would have more backgrounds coming through the fire department. And I think it would just be a better service overall.
If you're just joining us, my guest right now is Calvin Zielsdorf, candidate for El Paso mayor. Again, you want to find out more information about him, his campaign, and what's coming next, you can visit Calvin Zielsdorf for EP Mayor 2020 on Facebook, or just search any of those terms and you'll probably find him. So coming up to your last couple of points here, the district project. So this is just kind of more of a focus, not any particular project you're talking about, but more of a focus on the city level of injecting money into the specific districts.
Correct. I'm definitely going to submit my ideas of what I think those districts could use. And I think it would be a really good opportunity to hold some of that brain drain, or stop some of that brain drain, and give those that just recently graduated a chance to really show what they learned and show their creativity within their district. These district projects would have a minimum requirement of renewable energy, whether that be wind or solar, and they would have to be functional. They couldn't just be some random awning in the middle of nowhere. They would have to serve a function to the district. And then, like I said, these would be designed and built by those that live within the district. And that would help inject money directly to our citizens and kind of cut out all the middlemen just for a little while. Because I think that's definitely what we're going to need coming out of this pandemic, because everybody is struggling for money right now.
So kind of like a mini Marshall project almost, it sounds like.
Yeah. But every district would get, their own chance to create something that they need.
Okay. And so then to your third point, transparency and accountability, that also then kind of dovetails into what you mentioned in your intro there with the 2012 Quality of Life Bond projects and the Performing Arts Center, often referred to as the arena, and what's going on with Duranguito. You mentioned a little bit about your experience and your viewpoint on it. So what would be your priority if elected to handle that arena project? Would it continue? Would you stop it? What would you do?
I think it would definitely need to, we would need to go back to the table and look at the options again. I don't believe in tearing down our oldest neighborhood for the sake of concerts and sports. There was a proposal that came out maybe a year ago where they would renovate Duranguito and incorporate the Mexican Heritage Culture Center within that neighborhood. There's a lot of things coming to El Paso with the expansion of I-10, and we're going to lose a lot of buildings. We're going to lose possibly lose the Jewish or the Holocaust Museum, and I think that's something that we cannot lose. We need to remember that. So this idea of a Duranguito campus or a heritage campus would include more than just the Mexican heritage. I mean, that's going to be a huge part of it, but we also have the Chinese laundromat that's there. Mm-hmm. And the Chinese heritage is huge in El Paso. They brought the railroad here, and they really helped spur our economy, and still do today. And so this Duranguito campus would really be a chance for all of El Paso to come down to downtown, learn our culture, walk through maybe the eras of these cultures, and I think that'd be a lot better than adding more space to the library or taking space away from the library that it just got. And as far as the sports arena, I would if I did vote yes for the 2012 bonds, so it'd be hard for me to say no, we don't need that. But I think it should be relocated to the east side of downtown. We could utilize the trolley more Instead of having everybody go to the west side of downtown, we could spread it out and really, again, spread the love and really spread the money across downtown more evenly. That would also bring more people into the Segundo Barrio, and I think it would really motivate people to be more involved within the city government to really help that district out.
My guest right now has been Calvin Zielsdorf, candidate for El Paso mayor. Want to find out more about him and his policy positions? Search Calvin Zielsdorf for El Paso Mayor 2020 on Facebook. So, Calvin, thanks very much for coming in and talk to us about all these important issues here today.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I know we kind of missed our schedule, but I appreciate the second chance to come in here, and I really look forward to really helping this city move forward towards a future that we should be at already, not still 20 years down the line.
Thank you to all of the candidates for taking the time to speak with us, and hopefully you'll find this useful as you make your decision at the polling place. Don't forget, early voting goes through October 30th, and then Election Day, of course, November 3rd. We will be bringing you live election night results on election night, being live from 7 till at least 9 p.m. as more of those results coming in, checking on those state, local, and national races on News Radio 690 KTSM. So be sure to join us over there or on our Facebook page, facebook.com/Talk El Paso, where we stream just about everything that we do. So be sure to go over there and give us a like, share, subscribe, and share your comments. We'll be definitely wanting to know what you think. So thanks for joining us. Hope you found this entertaining and useful. I'm your host, Andrew J. Polk.